What's up YouTube? It's Tiffany with Night Shift EDC, and today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. Typically on this channel we review everyday carry gear and travel gear from small independent makers as well as larger companies, popular bags, and then also things that people have bags and gear that are not very well known. And today we're going to be talking about a bag that I actually made. As you've seen from the title, it is a do-it-yourself backpack. I made this backpack for my dad, and it took me a couple of months between conceptualizing, choosing the fabric, also practicing the skills to make sure that I'd be able to actually pull off the technical aspects. I started learning how to sew about 1 year ago, well, less than a year ago, honestly, and I've been mostly teaching myself as well as getting a lot of tips and tricks from the wonderful makers in the community that we are a part of with Everyday Carry. And so today I have the backpack that I made my dad. I'm taking it out for a walk. I am checking its comfort, checking its durability. Will the bag hold up or will it fall apart? That is the question. So with that being said, let's check it out. All right, so this is the bag that I made for my father. It's approximately 18 liters. It stands around 16 inches tall, 10 inches wide, and about 5 inches of depth. It's not quite full clamshell, it's close. I stopped the zipper a few inches from the bottom so that his contents don't fall out when he's using it. I decided to go with a Sling carry system instead of a traditional backpack because he mostly carries his bags by the handle up top anyways. Thought process would be he can unclip this and actually stow the handle away in this sleeve right there. He asked for a small water bottle holder, enough to hold one of the 12-ounce plastic water bottles, and so that was added. The materials that were used on the bottom, we have an X11 cotton duck in black to add abrasion resistance as well as increased waterproofness. On the outside here we have an 840D, a junior ballistic nylon, and it also has a special coating which I will put on the screen right here for you to take a look at. Feel free to pause that for a second if you want to see. The pocket was made out of a black Tweave Durastretch material, and then the inside was made out of a 420D Robic nylon in ripstop burnt orange. My dad asked for an orange interior, so an orange interior he got. As you can see by the patches on the front, my dad was in the Air Force back in the 80s. He sent me some patches. The patches were actually iron-on, and I took all of his patches. He had about 15 of them, and I Velcroed them on the back so that he can continue to mix them up. This is my patch, and this is from Max Packs Co. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is I'm going to run through and show you the entire bag. And while we do that, I'm gonna show you some of the points where I think I succeeded and did well. And then I will show you some of my struggle and pain points. All right, so first up, we have this pocket here in the front. I included a Velcro strip sewn in. That way he can either have it empty or he can add an admin panel or a pocket, whatever he chooses. I added some pleats here on the front, and I had issues with making those symmetrical. So this one is higher than this side. Also, what I noticed is when the bag is completely packed out, unfortunately, the volume from the inside of the bag pushes up against this pocket and not much else than a piece of paper can fit inside. So unfortunately, I was not as successful as I had hoped in building a front pocket with volume, but I think that the flat pocket gives the bag a really nice, sleek, clean look on the front, so I'm not mad at it. You can see I used a number 10 injection molded zipper These are not YKK, nor are they name brand, but I've been using these zippers for a while. They've held up really well, and I feel confident that they're going to last. Taking a peek at the water bottle pocket, it does stick out a little bit, but not obnoxiously so in my opinion. There is some volume to it. My phone fits inside. On the bottom, there's a small little hole here where debris and water or condensation can come out if needed. Looking at the handle, I got the idea for this handle from Dan Matsuda, who I reviewed not too long ago. And on his bag, he takes a thick cord and wraps it in a nylon tube. So this is a 1-inch nylon tube with a thick cord on the inside. You extend the nylon tube and it allows you to go ahead and stitch it down. On the side here, I did a box stitch. Same with over here. My dad has large hands, so I made this wide enough that he can hook a carabiner. I did not include any specific latches because I felt like this was already enough. I think the handle turned out really well. I really like the way that it feels in my hand. I like how sturdy it is. I think it's gonna hold up. One of the pain points that I tend to have is symmetry. So when I look at the bag from the top down, the end of the handle on the left is here, the end of the handle on the right is here, and it's not quite lined up. That's gonna drive me crazy, but hopefully most people won't pay any attention to it. This Velcro panel is sewed on for his patches, like I had mentioned earlier. Coming to the back of the pack, I have built in a Velcro pocket. That is the full length of the backpack. It goes all the way down. There's no false bottom built in. Technically, despite the Sling strap, he can put whatever he wants in here, but there is no closing mechanism. There's no Velcro. There's nothing to keep his things from falling out. But right here, on this side, it is the Velcro sleeve like I was talking about. So if he wants to put something in here and keep it from falling out, this will be much more secure. I have cut a foam pad for him that's about 1/4 inch to provide structure as well as some comfort. He can add a plastic sheet if he would like more rigidity. All right, so finally moving to the inside of the bag. All right, so this is the inside of the bag. This is the back wall of the bag, and this is the front here. On the back wall, it is all Velcro for the most part. And the reason why I've done this is I want the bag to be very versatile as well as being able to grow with him. Verdix and 511, Alpha 19er, there's so many different companies that have great accessories that go on a Velcro loop. And so I want him to be able to pick out his own accessories. And let's say after a year, he wants to change it up. He just pulls it off and starts over. On the bottom here, there's a foam pad. So this is the back of the X11 cotton duck. I have sewn in a Velcro patch panel that can accept, obviously, another piece of Velcro. And the reason why I did this specifically is when I take out this built-in pad, if you would like to travel with this as a packable bag, all of the foam will come out and it will make it much more packable and squishable. But when he's at home using it, if he wants the bag to have more structure and he wants to easily pack it out, then he can use this. So this is the posterior of the 420D Robic nylon. And on this side, I use 1000D Ultimate Cam Tropic, and I sewed on a Coyote Velcro strap. That way, I take the Velcro end, apply it to the bottom of the bag. The benefit of this is twofold. One, there's now foam on the bottom to provide some cushion and security for his things. Well, actually threefold. It's increased the ability to stand up on its own, the structure, as well as it has increased the water resistance. This is the front edge of the pack, and I've already added a couple of panels for him. This one is from Alpha 19er. It's an admin panel It has some of its own padding on the inside, as well as a pocket. I think he'll get a lot of use out of this. Put cards, phone, pens, his wallet, or loose paper. Up here, he could put his mace, put his keys on the inside, which is where I have my keys currently. So this was my idea when it came to modular organization. So if he would prefer it to go on the back panel, then he can. That's what's great about this, is he can organize his backpack however he wants. As you can see, there are 2 hatch panels on the back of the front panel for organization, as well as I have added another Velcro insert access point. Once again, this goes the full length of the front panel. This is the back of the Junior Ballistic. I have added 1/4 inch foam to provide some structure, as well as some protection to his things. He can either use this as a pocket to store stuff. He can add a Kydex sheet if he wants. Take the foam out. He's got plenty of options. I want to bring your attention to the binding here. These aren't things that most people look at, but if you're watching this, you're most likely a bag nerd like me. I have a really hard time with symmetry, but then also I have a difficult time with binding. I don't think that I am super unique in this. From what I've heard, binding is difficult for a lot of makers. So I like the way this binding looks. I think it looks great. And then you come over to the edges, and then you start to see where things fall off a little bit. There's some threads hanging out. So I had some difficulty on this side as well. So looks good, and then all of a sudden looks like shit. This is one of the areas that I'm trying to improve for sure. I have a very difficult time binding. I know this about myself. I try to take my time and go as slow as possible, but I'm not gonna let it stop me from making stuff. This is the posterior of the top handle. And talking more about symmetry specifically, there is about a thumb's width here, and as I go across, I essentially lose all of that. So somehow this was sewn on at an angle. I don't like that happened, but honestly, I removed it and tried it a couple times and it kept going at an angle. I don't know why. So there's another pain point for me to work on. Some of the things I think I've done really well with this bag is I did not use a pre-made pattern. I designed this on my own, cut out all my own fabrics, definitely took inspiration from Dan Matsuda here. I took some of the shape from the GWA Mini Citadel, as well as this Durastretch pocket. GWA does this. X11, Cotton Duck. The Muir Pack by Truck, they used this. This burnt orange here, it reminds me of the GoRuck 2% collab that came out. So I took inspiration from a lot of different places, and I think that's how bag making goes. I know that that's a hot topic in the community, is people coming up with their own designs and being unique and being original. There's only so many ways to make a bag, and that's it. So that is my 18-liter Sling backpack that I have made for my dad. I'm gonna be sending it to him soon. It's not perfect, but I made it with love, and I'm really proud of it. I spent a lot of time working on it, and I've progressed a lot. Can't wait to see where I am in a couple of months. It's gonna be really exciting. The next video I do, I hope to show that my binding looks better, that my symmetry is better. And so drop a comment below. Is this a bag that you would rock, or do I need to keep working first? Anyways, if you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, please throw me a like, a share, and a subscribe, and I will see you all at the next one.